r/AskReddit, what's the worst thing your parents ever said to you? My dad to me after I got in a bad fight in high school, Michael, you truly are a fucking idiot. Spoilers, he was right. Don't call me mother no more. For a few years in the 90s, I was overweight and my mother told me I looked like I was pregnant. I was so hurt. If you really feel that bad, there are people who kill themselves. That's possible, you know? Get up, it's time for school. I was a fuck she wasted. When I came home very proud of getting my driver's license on the first try, my mother's response was, "Oh great, you'll probably just wreck the car. You are not my son." My mom. Getting disowned from your own mother is one of the worst feelings in the world. That the only reason they wanted to have me is so they have someone to take care of them when they grow old. She said I'd work at McDonald's when I was older. All because I wasn't doing so well, BC of unmedicated ADHD, in the 4th grade. Pensive face. When I was about 8 or 9, I asked my mother why she hated me so much, so she told me. Ironically, it was also the best thing she ever told me. My mom told me my father essentially sexually assaulted her when I was conceived. One time I was in my teens, I was experimenting on makeup, my mom just out of nowhere told me that she is prettier than me, hence doesn't need all that. You're the worst mistake of my life, you're a failure, completely worthless, you know what, you don't matter, I'll just have another son. If you think you have shit parents, it can always be so much worse. Those quotes are from ages 3 to 5 BTW before they split and dumped me. You don't love me, so that's it, I should just kill myself, and proceeded to threaten committing suicide. Love, Dad. My mother implying that me, experiencing SA was my fault for not being careful enough and wearing summer appropriate clothing. You need to leave, mother, after father raised his hand to me. I wish had someone else as a son. My dad said he loved my sister more than me. I was 26 and thought we had a great relationship, it's never been the same since he told me that, even my relationship with my sister is different now. I fell short on push-ups in basic training during federal budget cuts and got kicked out. I'm 6'9", so getting proper form becomes a struggle quickly. Needless to say, to go through it all and for it to end that way was devastating. My mother thought it was a good idea to say, "Well, I'm surprised you even made it as far as you did." My younger brother enlisted the year prior and refused to train after 3 weeks of it. Apparently I was seen as the same kind of person. For a skinny girl, you really don't look that skinny. LMFAO. As damaging to my body image and eating habits as that was, I love my mom. Sad to see so many terrible mothers in the comments. I'll send y'all a hug. Don't kill yourself until after we die. I had asked my dad to shift his chair a bit because I had to move past it, and he said, "You really need to reduce your size if you can't even fit in this much space. You are worthless to me, BC, you won't give me grandchildren. You're gonna end up homeless or in prison getting your shit shoved in. You were a mistake. I'm going to kills us both, crash his car into pole." All of this before 13 BTW_carrot. I wish abortion had been legal when I was pregnant with you. I'd have gotten rid of you. I was 10. You are the reason I hurt myself. You are the reason I drink. Call when you're done, we'll go shopping. That's what my mother said to me when my parents dropped me off to a hospital. I was at the hospital, at 16 years old, to get an abortion after a 26-year-old man had used me and gotten me pregnant. My parents just left me there, alone, and went shopping. My mother did call me to ask me why it was taking so long. Medical abortion, they had to insert the medication in me multiple times. And when I was finally ready to leave, my mom's only worry was that I might bleed into the car seat. Whatever foolish hope and wish I had that my parents might love me died that day. If I could go back and do it all again, I wouldn't have gotten married and had kids. You really need to work on your vocabulary and use bigger words. Sadly, he was right. My mother once told me that it's my fault that she's poor and has no life because she couldn't go back to work as she had no one to take care of me. That was not true. I had 2 grandmothers, and she also didn't have any education or a good job, so she didn't walk out on a big career that could ever support her. In response, I told her she should have aborted me. We would be close, if you had a child, Mom. She wants nothing to do with me. I see it now. I had an older brother who passed because of a car accident. I was a child when he died. He was 13. My mother once told me, while drunk, it should have been me, because my brother did well at school and had a lot of friends while I didn't. He would have had a much brighter future. Get out of my life, take everything you have. You don't even seem to belong in this family. My dad, some weeks after everyone was arguing and I was the one trying to reconcile everyone. And yes, I had to do that multiple times. Not that he cared though. Fuck your life, get out of my house before I crack your skull open. Your bother's my favorite. My brother is more handsome than me. I regret not getting an abortion. My mother shoved me up against a staircase wall in the church where we were holding my great-grandmother's 90th birthday party and told me, "You need to just hurry up and kill yourself because we all know you're going to do that one day anyway." And again, my mother, this time in her new boyfriend's parents' really nice house, "If it weren't for you, I would be living like this." Definitely not the worst thing compared to what a lot of people have said, but it did have negative consequences on my self-esteem and the way I handled school in the future. My mom basically told me that the only reason my teachers ever passed me was because they liked me, not because I was smart. I was a quiet, well-behaved kid, and maybe she was right, but she should have had that talk with the teachers, not me. Now that I'm 34 and finally just about to complete only an associate's degree, I think I probably had, and likely still have, ADHD and debilitating anxiety. I've learned ways to cope without any kind of help, but probably could have done much better in school if they had tried to figure out why I wasn't doing well in school and not just assuming I didn't care or wasn't smart. I have to love you because you're my child, but that doesn't mean I have to like you. She didn't like me, she hated me and told me how much she hated me on a regular basis. I remember when my mother told me that I am not her daughter, I am not an adopted child, but she hated me that day, and I remember when she said to me, "I wish I had not given birth to you," and I remember when she told me that I was a failure. This did not stop me, but I did many things that I knew I could, so she was shocked by what I did and she withdrew her words. Haha, the worst thing that was ever said to me. I remember when my mother told me that my brother died. And when she told me the truth about my relatives, I still can't comprehend it, and when she told me that my aunt died, I wished I had seen her after that. Parting, it was not a good day when we parted, so I wished I had at least seen her. I wonder what she would have looked like 8 or 7 years later the last time I saw her. I do not wish for the death of more of my relatives because I just want to hear their voices and their visions. Your dad died. My mother, everyone I've ever loved and has loved me, is dead. She had just moved into my home for me to take care of her in her final months. She passed 18 months later, me being the only one by her side. All mother constantly calling me by my sister's name, forgetting my birth date, telling me to pluck my eyebrows. I looked like an extra from Planet of the Apes, because I have hairy arms, among many things, and horrible treatment in general. When I lose weight, and not fat anymore, I'll be happy. Die, you're a shame for us. You're stupid. No man will ever love you with your stretch marks. You're just a person that lives in my house. We're not family. I hate you. If there's war, I'll die for my country. Don't think you are anything special. Uncle has raped every child in this family and now it was you. Don't worry, he did it to me too. Flushed face. Be yourself and everything will work out. I got bullied when I was younger, around when I was 16 or 17 years old, and my DOS said I was faking it. One day we were on a group event, someone shouted an insult to me with my parents present. I'm still expecting my dad to apologize for saying that I faked being bullied. If abortion was legal, I would have had one. My dad told my sister he didn't even want a second child and the only reason she was born is because my mom talked him into it. He was joking but she actually started crying. That I was adopted, it was a sick prank from my mom though, but still had me question everything. One time when I was a teenager I was honestly really mad and so I cut myself with a shaver and then walked out of the living room, not even for an attention thing, I was just really angry and wanted to show them how angry I was. And then later my mom and we were in the car and she just said don't ever do that shit, it's weird, something like that, and we never spoke about it again. Make me feel really sad. Pick me up from a dumpster. What I am supposed to do about it? When I told her my dad SA me, and the sick thing is she let him move back in after he SA my sister and when she moved out. Context: I'm 5 to 6 years old and my mom is crying wildly while doing some sort of chore. Me: Mom, why are you crying? Mom: because of you. I have no other memory of the context, but yeah. Shit like that sticks. When she had found out I was self-harming, she asked when's the last time I had a tetanus shot. No concern over my mental health. Although my mother didn't say this to be hurtful, I still remember when she said, "I think you have a learning disability," when I was in elementary school. I've always been a horrible test taker despite great effort, so this hurt? I have a disorder that makes me sweat like a grown man on a 100-degree summer day, even if it's 30 to 40 degrees out. I'm a 20-year-old girl. I shower as frequently as my skin sensitivity lets me. Soaps of all kinds irritate my skin, haven't found one yet that won't break me out, which is about every 2 days. I wipe down with scented wipes every day to at least help the smell, but nothing works. One day recently, I had just gotten out of the shower about 5 minutes prior. I had just come out of the bathroom from getting dressed. My mom: "You smell like fucking horse shit." My dad called me a F# king grass because my brother bullied me relentlessly and I kept asking to make him stop. That I should be happy that he didn't slap me in the face, said by my dad a couple of years back when I told him to leave my room as he entered unannounced while I was working, fully remote. I was over at their house visiting. He knew I was at work and chose to ignore it. I was 26-ish at the time. Had he slapped me, that would be the end of any relation. Now it's just distant as I don't feel safe around people who feel comfortable enough to make such threats. If you break my vase I will break you. Dad in his late 20s. Maybe you should eat/drink, another academically better performing kids, shit/piss. Maybe that'll give you some brains. Translating/paraphrasing, but that's the gist of it. Thanks, Mom. No, just leave him there. My mom would say something along the lines of, "I can't wait until you are all 18 and out of the house." Don't get me wrong. She was a good mother, but that line just hit me wrong when she would say that. Made me feel like I was nothing but a burden. One Halloween I didn't have a costume, so I worked with what I had. I had a jean skirt, blue rain hat that was shaped like a cowboy hat, and winter boots. I overheard my father saying I was dressing as a slur for Polish people. Well geez dad. You didn't step up and offer to buy me a costume and I'm a kid, so I don't have any money. What would you like me to do? If you don't want to be in my house, go to your father, she said after my brother told me to KMS. BTW, my father is homeless. I wish that your first attempt was successful. My dad, after I tried to off myself for a second time. My mum used to say that she must have done something evil in her last life to deserve me. I was about 10 and tried my best to be a good girl and be helpful and kind. I understood later in life that she just couldn't cope and we were always close, but more importantly, I healed. I don't blame her. She had 3 boys as well as me. F. You can just stay right here and think about rotting in hell. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you have enjoyed this video and subscribe to never miss an upload.